the Physical Services Committee to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Emmons.
Here.
Counselor Gozick.
Here.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Here.
Before we get the regular meeting going, I wanted to turn it over to Counselor Gozick.
Yes, I'd just like to recognize the passing of longtime City Alderman Tom Halpin. He represented the 5th Ward for 26 years, and after being in this seat for a little over 6 months, I think anybody here on the council and many of you can appreciate this man deserves our respect, doing this for 26 years, for a quarter of a century. So I just ask if we could have a moment of silence in honor and remembrance of Tom Halpin, longtime 5th Ward Alderman. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. With that, I'm going to motion to approve the minutes of the July 5th, 2016 committee meeting.
Make a motion. Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, moving on to new business. Item number 1 under authorization. Thomas Kells, DPW Commissioner, received a request from Jennifer Mays, owner of Oswego Expeditions, for use of the Gallagher Pool in order to host a Fitness Through Nature program.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mays. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Kells for submitting this resolution and the council for listening and allowing me to speak tonight. Some of you may know already that I'm the sole proprietor of Oswego Expeditions. My business, Oswego Expeditions, provides a service to visitors of our city and county to experience our local history and natural environments. I'm attempting to simultaneously create opportunities for residents of our city and county to improve their physical and emotional health through outdoor fitness. The name of the program is Fitness Through Nature. This program aims to increase participants' physical activity and time spent outdoors. I'm extremely excited to be the first business in the city of Oswego to offer this combination of services, which there is undoubtedly a need for. The Oswego County Health Assessment 2014-2017 clearly states that shifts in health behaviors are needed now. Residents of our low socioeconomic community need more affordable fitness opportunities outside of costly gym memberships. As a single mother of 3, I can empathize greatly with the majority of this demographic who struggle to stay physically, emotionally, and financially fit. As a longtime member of the Gallagher Pool, I value it greatly. I've been lap swimming there around the crowds for many years and see how the community would greatly benefit from time specifically set aside for lap swim and other water fitness activities. Currently, there are no organized outdoor swimming opportunities in the city of Oswego other than the YMCA Tri-Club, and that takes place in the harbor. To my understanding, no business has ever utilized the Gallagher Pool for a fitness program or lap swim opportunity. It's further my understanding that since the time of my initial requests in 2015 and every month since then in 2016 leading to today, no set fees have ever been established. The fee outlined in the resolution of $75 per session is not affordable for this program. Aside from being a new business, this is a brand new program and concept that takes time and investment to grow into the vision I have for it. As of now, all of Oswego Expeditions has been fully self-funded with no outside funding from the city, investors, or banks. It is my intention to grow this program into something successful, and with the proposed fee, it creates such a strain that this goal will not be achievable. The fee of $75 per use was presented to me as being the fee for the ice skating rinks. Please keep in mind the longevity of the hockey programs and the demographic of the sport, mostly middle and upper class majority. Furthermore, this is a cost absorbed by an entire team. I do not think hockey is a feasible comparison for the fee presented, at least not in the infancy stages of this program. Lastly, please note the cost of the family membership for the entire pool season is only $55 and a single use is only $2. I'm hoping that we can come to a reasonable decision that benefits the community and sets the stage for this program to be successful in years to come. It is my intention not to create any expenses or additional burden on the city. With this in mind, I am proposing that Oswego Expeditions cover the cost of any payroll accrued by any lifeguard on duty during the requested session times. I'm further requesting that 1 lifeguard and 1 supervisor be made available for the minimum amount of participants. I'm anticipating this cost not to exceed $30 per session. If need be, we can adjust the proposed schedule to 2 session times per week rather than the initial proposed 4 times. I'm looking forward to working with the city on this program, future programs, and events. Can I answer any questions?
there any questions or comments?
I'd like to ask our commissioner in terms of costs related to lifeguards associated with the pool.
Staff with 2 lifeguards, and also have a pool technician coming in the morning to assess water quality.
And is it approximately $75 for cost around there?
Just shy of. They will be overtime for all three.
The overtime cost.
I'm just hoping that we can evaluate the 2 lifeguards. I don't know what the number of lifeguards per participants is, but we're only going to be using one section of the pool. And if there's more than what 1 lifeguard is allowed, then obviously we would turn those people away, but keep it at the 1 lifeguard until that grows.
Councilor Gills.
Yes, I'm due to, excuse me, my relationship, Ms. Mays, I'm going to abstain from the vote, but I would ask, how many people do you anticipate participating? Do you have any idea how many people are going to be participating on a daily
No.
basis?
No, because it's a brand-new program. We're just beginning to advertise. We just printed these flyers, have absolutely no idea. I have 1 annual member right now. I have 1 seasonal member for the summer months, and my membership rates are on the schedule that I passed out to you all. And other than that, participants can access the sessions for free twice to see if they want to become a member, or if they belong to any other fitness facility in Oswego, they can access the program for $5 per session. But really, we really don't know, and I haven't pushed the swimming aspect of it yet. Mostly we do like trail running and kayaking is the bulk of our fitness interest right now.
Councilor Gordon.
Good question. I've read this over 2 or 3 times, and nowhere did I see how long this session is. I mean, it says what time it starts. Is it an hour long?
Hour sessions.
Just an hour? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see where it had lifted the hour time. Thank you.
Councilor Walker.
Chair, did you ever think of just doing it during operating hours, and you can pay your $1 or $2, whatever it is?
Yeah, it's really difficult to do that there. I've been lap swimming there for years, so has John, and during the regular swim, which is between 12:30 and 5, it's very unlikely that you can do laps. There's so many children. It's unreal. There's a lot of kids in there at that time. So normally we try to swim between 5 and 7, which is the family swim where it's less people. But even still, that's not guaranteed. So if there's kids, and teenagers in the one section, which is the deep end, you really can't. And if, so the idea of the exclusivity where that you can actually do laps and get that exercise in was more guaranteed if it was outside of normal pool hours. I did propose at one point during the communications that maybe a session time during the normal hours, but from what I understood, they would have rathered it before or after.
Mary?
I think the concept is applaudable, but what are you going to do if other private entity groups want to use the pool? What are you going to do if, just throwing it out there, a fraternity wants to use it for the reunion? What are you going to do if some other group says, we want the pool off hours? I think you'll have to think broadly about the growth.
Thank you, Chairman. I think we have almost 2 things to talk about. I think 2 things to discuss. One, I think we need to discuss at an upcoming meeting, and that's establishment of a rental fee or fees related to the pool. I mean, I think we have to establish those so folks understand what the consistency is, and, have that knowledge right up front. So I don't think we can do that tonight as a part of this particular resolution, but I do think that we need to establish that. So I'm assuming that needs to come through council on some level. So I would ask the commissioner to perhaps propose a rental fee for the pool, maybe at an upcoming council meeting. I think on the flip side, I think considering what we have before us, I think at the bare minimum is we have to cover our costs associated with the staffing of the pool. And so if the commissioner says 2 lifeguards, to me that's 2 lifeguards, and there's a cost associated with those 2 staff members in and the technician for the pool. I mean, I don't think we're in the business necessarily of absorbing staffing costs, especially on overtime. So, you know, it's not that we're charging you a rental fee or anything for that. I think we're covering costs for this particular event or this particular session, but then coming up with an actual rental fee schedule and appropriate staffing levels later, you know, at an upcoming session, so that the commissioner can just work with folks that are interested in reserving the pool, and quite frankly, we probably don't need to talk about it after those fees are established. So, but I think the commissioner had a.
Counselor, it's not me that's saying two lifeguards, that's the state that's telling us two lifeguards. As well as pool technicians with water quality.
So to me, if that's $75, that's $75 a session.
I think the lifeguards make $10 per hour, and they would be getting time and a half, which is 15. So that's 2, and then a supervisor on duty, I believe, makes 11. And so we're at 30 for the 2. I understand completely. I think that there should be an established fee for the rental because it's never been established before. I totally agree with that. In reference to like fraternity groups and things like that, totally get it. It should be available. Hopefully, once that's established, we will rent out the pool more time. That's the whole goal. You get exposure and it starts to get more use, and now suddenly the pool's making more money. But this is a program that's specifically designed to address the health epidemic in Oswego County. The mission is a little bit different per se than a birthday party or a fraternity group. This is to improve the quality of life of Oswego County residents, and that's where I think it's a little bit different.
Again, devil's advocate, you also need 2 lifeguards who are going to be willing to work overtime in summer.
I was just asking, was hoping for clarification. Now, the $75 fee, is that all, or is it the lifeguards and then there's like a fee, hourly fee, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it $75 that covers everything? Renting the pool and the lifeguards and supervisors or technician? Or are they separate? I just wasn't, or maybe Commissioner Cowles, or?
That is no fee for the facility, that is strictly manpower.
Oh, this is the manpower, $75, okay.
Ms. Mays said supervisor is 11 or 12 months now. The pool technician is a city employee full-time, and that person with overtime is over 35 hours per hour. And then your two lifeguard staff is 15 each, so we're 65 approximately, plus the benefit cost.
I think it's a great program. It's definitely needed. Jennifer, if this came to you, or you'll have to take up, you talk to the school district at all? If you had lifeguards or something there, you'd be able to use their pool, be able to move on and help the citywide?
No, I've been discussing with SUNY Oswego. I may be able to use their pool in the wintertime, but in the warm months, my mission is really to remain outdoors. So I don't really want to compromise that too much. There was something else. Right.
I really like the idea, and I like what the mission is. I mean, timing-wise, is there any chance for us to talk to the health department? I mean, the county did have a pretty big initiative to lower the obesity rating for the county as a whole. And is it something we want to try and reach out to them and see if they want to be a part of, to see if there's any way we can collaboratively work together? I could see it being something they may want to be involved in if we ran dead last for obesity. So, you know, we could shoot a little higher.
Thank you.
I mean, do you guys want to take a week and try and have some talks with people? Do you want to just leave it flat right on the table?
I have spoke with Jian Chang before about some different things, the director of health, and I know that he likes the program, but at the point where I started speaking with him, you know, really didn't know where it was going. And I think that if you're willing to do that, that would certainly be very supportive. And I think that that's more what he wanted to see when I initiated conversations with him, that I was just, you know, some girl off the street, and what did he really have anything to do? But to have support behind you is really the only thing that can help you grow. And any of you are willing to take that on, I think that they would be for it. I mean, we are. Our obesity statistics are horrendous. And, I know the YMCA has their pool, but there's a whole part of our population here in Oswego that doesn't want to belong to a gym, and doesn't like the gym atmosphere, and they'd much rather be outdoors. And not only that, but we're empowering people to have the skills to do it on their own, so that whether their income allows for a gym membership this month or not, they can still go out and do these things on their own. And I think that we should really come together and create that opportunity for kids and adults.
I mean, I'd be fine with somebody reaching out to the county. I mean, I still think that, if they were willing to, the county health department, if they were willing to, put up some money to help offset these costs, I think that would be great. I think our costs are fairly fixed, though.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
the compromises.
Yep.
We get a third party
To help offset.
It's
Yeah.
not saying we should, but if we can do something like that. Councilor Gordon?
Basically, that's what I was going to say, that, the cost of the cost. And I know you mentioned that you thought less amount would be more user-friendly for you that you could afford, but I think the cost of the cost, and we're not here to subsidize the private business, even though it is for a good cause, to take care of obesity and increase the welfare of the public. I still think the cost of the cost,
Yes.
as any private business, you have expenses, and other than the pool, I'm sure you have other expenses that you're incurring. So, whatever the costs are for all the ventures you're doing, you do have to come up with a cost for your members. So if $75 is the fixed cost for us, then maybe there's some other entity, like we were saying, that puts in there. I don't see us really reducing our end of it, to be honest with you.
Yes. This year's been difficult with the Fitness Through Nature program because of exactly what you're saying. So much of what I'm doing kind of has a nonprofit mission. So this year, it is a for-profit business, but I'm hoping, I have actually split the business in two. So Oswego Expeditions is a for-profit. Fitness Through Nature, I just created another business for. And Operation Oswego County is supporting me on making Fitness Through Nature a nonprofit. So, but that's going to take some time. But hopefully, by next year, if I have to stand before you, things will be much different, and there'll be grants available for that type of thing and stuff.
You have to file, was it 5103?
501c3.
C3, yeah. So, that does take some time and also expensive.
Yes. Yes.
So I guess just to that end, I'm happy to shoot an email and copy you gentlemen on it. If you want to email me some info and stuff,
Yes.
talk to the chairman, we could do that. That process is slow, though. It'll take legislator approval and that kind of thing, I'm sure. So I don't know how feasible this season is, but, if you're willing to take the risk, we can try it and see how quickly it can go.
Yeah, I don't want to give up on it. I started these conversations in 2015, and here we are today. So, I don't want to give up on it. We're coming to the end of the summer, but still, I think that anything we can do is only going to help for next year. So, thank you.
Great.
Just,
Mayor Chair, just a couple of questions. In addition to that cost, there's the requirement for $1 million liability policy. Is that something that you have figured into?
I haven't, if it's the same insurance policy that you're referring to as far as having kayaks on city property, I still have that same insurance policy. So I believe, yes.
All right. That's important for my understanding, too. So if I'm reading this correctly, you're looking for 4 sessions this summer?
Initially, I was, but obviously, we're late in the game here. So I'm willing to change that because, obviously, 4 is not going to work. That's $300 a week. So that's not going to happen.
Okay, so that's the question. So it's 4 sessions each week?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's not 4 per week.
No, it was aimed to be 4 per week.
I understand. Okay. My point in that was, given the timing, if we were only talking 4 sessions, if it's 1 each week, for instance, $300, there may be an opportunity for you to do some fundraising to cover those costs. So as not to delay this any further, at least this year, seek the council's approval to at least get this approved. Whether you actually
Utilize it or not.
utilize it or execute on it is then up to you. But the I mean,
That's,
if that's not where you want to go, that's fine too, but you'll at least know that the cost is the cost.
right, that's fine with me. The only concern I would have with that is if we approve this, then am I paying the $75 even if we don't use it? Because remember, we had discussed on the phone, if you reserve
Well, then that's the
a facility,
Yeah, I mean, if we're then reserving the space and
Right.
having the people standing by, that becomes a challenge for sure.
yeah. That's my concern with saying yes, and then, I don't,
If you've got at least another week to figure that out, I'm just trying to keep this thing moving along, but I also respect your concerns, and clearly the council's concerns.
I mean, I would be okay with either taking this off the floor next week if we have some sort of change with it, or approving the resolution as is in terms of establishing the fee for this particular function at $75, and so that we actually have something to be able to carry forward next year, and if there is some movement with the county, or, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not sure if, as a council, we care how it gets paid for as long as it gets paid for. So whether she's getting a check, writing out the check herself, or saying, here's a combination of monies, and turning it over, but it seems like realistically we could get the ball rolling at least with saying, okay, as written, these are the requirements in terms of $75 plus the $1 million insurance policy.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking as far as their concerns with scheduling goes, we'd have to kind of take that aspect out of it.
Correct.
It applies, so I mean, I think we could probably just take it off the floor next Monday, just kind of see what the reaction is, because this is going to have to change based on whatever the outcome is, whatever we get is, whatever happens with the county, you changing your schedule based on whatever money may or may not be available, if that's the case. So I think we'll probably just take no action on this. We've discussed it, with the public, and we've had a chance to weigh in, and then any changes we can bring forward. So, let's just make that the goal. You can email us tonight, myself, or the committee as a whole, and then we'll reach out to the county and go from there.
okay, thank you.
I just want to make one final comment. I'd be remiss if I didn't, but I want to thank Commissioner Kells, Mayor Barlow. Anybody who's been over to the public pool this year knows that they have brand new chairs, umbrellas. I mean, it's really nice for the people there. They added extra chairs a few last year, but it makes it a lot nicer for people because there's never enough room. It's usually very crowded. And so I just wanted to thank Commissioner Kells and Mayor Barlow for that. Additionally, I just thought I'd point out with the bicentennial year here that over the weekend, the Oswego Expeditions conducted one of the bicentennial bus tours, and we went around to Hannibal, Phoenix, Fulton, and it was an all-day tour. People enjoyed it, and great job promoting Oswego County history and Oswego history. So I just wanted to mention that before we moved on.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Sure.
Moving on to item number 2, the engineering department received a request for use of public space from ATW3 LLC, Andy Whitman, owner of a single-family rental unit located in the First Ward at 205 West Seneca Street, for a one-car parking space between the sidewalk and property line fronting West Seneca Street, together with a new 40-foot wide concrete step. ATW3 LLC has paved prior to this request. Is there anyone here to speak to this?
Hello, my name's Jim Smigelski. I own the property next to it at 203 West Seneca Street. I have a couple reasons why I don't think you should approve this space. Number one is, before I purchased the property, it belonged to my father-in-law. He had to go get a proper site plan for two-car driveway with proper green spaces and jump through all the hoops to get it. Not one problem in 37 years when he owned it with the parking, not one. With the 205 West Seneca Street we're talking about. If you allow this, there is absolutely no room whatsoever my tenants can get in and out of their vehicles without causing harm to themselves, because there's just it's tight to begin with. You know, we're talking 3 foot, and there's just no room. There's no room on the west side of the house to maintain my property if you allow this. It just causes more and more problems. And number 2, I hope you don't approve it, is because the corporation came in and took down a retaining wall and a fence that separated the properties with the green spaces, and he came through and took the fence out, the wall, and put in macadam on the green space in 4 foot of my approved space. This has been going on since last October. I have discussed it with the engineering department. Mr. Johnson has talked to this Mr. Whitman. He continues to call me and intimidate me and try to harass me about stuff that I'm just not interested in. I just want back to where it was originally. And the way I say is he intimidates and harasses me is by, I have pictures of him slowly taking parking spots, the parking spots from 1 to 2. He parks east and west, not north and south. And then the final kicker was last week, they decided to park in my whole driveway, and I had to have the police come down and take care of all this stuff. And I'm at this property daily. I'm an in-town landlord. He's an out-of-town landlord, cares nothing about this community. I've invested in this community. I spend every nickel in this town. He takes his money away up in New York. I certainly hope that this isn't approved, because this property's been in our family for 40 years, and I just don't think it should happen. He's done everything backhanded. I do everything by the book. I pay my taxes on time. I get permits properly. This man does, this corporation doesn't, and I certainly hope it can change. Thank you.
Just before I open it up to questions and comments, we've all had a chance to look at the resolution. There is a section that the owner of 205 will need to return the green space that he covered from 2000 back to restore.
That's 4 foot.
Right, the 4 foot. And there is an additional section. Bob Johnson feels that he paved to the property line. He believes there should be another buffer there that would have to be removed to bring that back down 2 size. So we will be making a second amendment to this that I'll have Bob take care of to shrink the size of the improvement. Now, those are 2 amendments that Bob's recommending if we want to approve. Council still has full discretion if they don't want to do any of this. I certainly take issue when somebody does something like this prior to approval and causes hardship to homeowners and around them. So that's certainly on us, up for discussion. So with that, I'll open it up to questions and comments.
I have taken a look at the property. I was made aware that they paved the area without permission, and I support the suggestions of returning the 4 feet plus the additional space back to green space.
Any other questions or comments?
Does the 7 feet effectively remove
Sorry,
his second parking spot? What I'm trying to ascertain on the map here. I see the one that he has. He's asked for a second one. Looks like the 7 feet would effectively almost remove the second parking spot that he's paid. Is that correct?
Right. It will
Effectively.
change that, because he's extended the footprint
Right.
past what he already has. And given the nature of how he's trying to park the cars.
If you're interested, I have pictures of him parking east, west, north, south, 2 cars in a 1-car place that I doubt he's even had a permit to work on the house too. But
Councilman Brown was also nice about it. Just to see what he took and how he expansion.
I would be okay with either the amended, resolution or telling them go fly a kite and remove it all, quite frankly, for not getting forever approval.
Councilman Brown.
Through the chair. I think really we need to just say no to the whole thing and let him remove it and come to us and ask properly.
I concur 100% with Councilor Laughlin.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Counselor Van Buren.
No.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
You want to send it to full council?
No.
We can kill it now.
Let's kill it now. No, yes.
As long as everyone's in agreement, we can kill it.
That's why I paused for a minute. I'm like, should I vote yes? Should I vote no? Where am I at?
So if you want to send it to full council,
I don't.
it's absolutely fine. We can do that.
No.
So you're...
Yes, I voted no.
Okay.
I said yes before I said no. No, whatever.
Counselor Gozick.
No.
Counselor McLaughlin.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chmielewski.
thank you very much.
Moving on to item number 3, the Engineering Department received a request from Tony Calasabetta, owner of a commercial property at 31 West Bridge Street located in the 3rd Ward, for use of public space 8 foot by 58 foot for proposed 36-foot high temporary freestanding wrought iron railings with walk-in openings for a dining area, together with an awning between the sidewalk and property line fronting West 2nd Street. The proposed awning is 8 foot by 58 foot and extends over public space approximately 8 feet.
Good evening. My name is Tony Calasabetta, and I'm the proprietor of 31 West Bridge Street. And I have to admit that things will be a little bit different than we originally planned there, just because of the short time that we have. But we are looking for the public use of space to put some seating for Cam's Pizzeria there. The wrought iron railing that it talks about, I don't think that's something we could fit in this season, but it's something that we want to make happen in the year coming, as well as the awning. So right now we're talking about putting a temporary bank theater style railing up that would incorporate tables with umbrellas that would be removable every evening and stored in the space in the back.
Any questions or comments? Councilor Wong.
You did say removable for the winter, right?
Yes, every evening will be removable.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I support what they're trying to do. I think it would be aesthetically very pleasing down there. There's about 12, maybe 13 feet of sidewalk space where they're proposing it, so there's plenty of sidewalk down there for this to take place, and I think it would look fantastic.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Take a motion.
Second?
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Moving on to item number 4, the Engineering Department received a request from Adam Fay, owner of a single-family dwelling at 63 West Seneca Street, located in the 1st Ward, for use of public space. 2 foot by 32 foot for a proposed 30-inch height retaining wall between the sidewalk and property line fronting West Seneca Street.
I support this retaining wall. They are trying to improve the property through the Renaissance Association, the ORA. Is Mr. Fay here to speak today? He said he was coming. All right, well, I support the project.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Item number 5, Counselor Nate Emmons received a request from Shana Tucker, representing the Children's Park Committee of Harborfest. Ms. Tucker is requesting approval of extending the usable space for the Family Park / West Park to include the closure of West 3rd Street between West Cayuga and West Seneca for the Friday, July 29th and Saturday, July 30th of Harborfest, in order to have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. In addition, on Friday, July 29th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Harborfest, in partnership with Arise, invite members of our community that have our support that have or support those with developmental disabilities to come to our park before the official opening. The idea is that there are those in our community that may benefit from having a quieter and less hectic place to play and enjoy the activities of the park. Council.
Yes, had a great conversation with Gina a week ago regarding both this request and HarborFest in general. I fully support their request. For me, the bigger part of this request is not necessarily the 3-on-3 basketball tournament, although I think it's a great addition to the family park down there. I think HarborFest has been working very hard to have activities for older kids, and I think we've been down to the children's park as of late. It just continues to grow every year. My bigger concern, and why I'm supporting this request, is actually the safety of the children within the park. Last year there was an accident on one of the corners. There's a lot of kids and families that cross the streets down there. And I think, honestly, I would support closing more roads around that park just to make sure folks are safe in terms of crossing over. So I think this is a wise request. I don't believe there should be any fees or anything else involved with this particular request. I don't think we typically charge HarborFest for use of facilities or anything else. So fully supportive of it. I did share with HarborFest that they would need to go to the neighbors that would be affected by this to inform them of the street closure and work with them very closely in terms of their ability to get in and out of their driveways over the course of those 2 days. I also talked to the chief, and I think it was our recommendation that we just close the street basically Friday and Saturday. We don't put up barriers up and down. Just that particular stretch of street is closed for both of those 2 days fully.
That's good. I would be remiss if I didn't give a chance to Gay Williams to speak on this.
You don't really want to make me go away without saying anything.
I couldn't pass it up. Yeah, I have to.
Oh, good. No, that's not an option. Anyway, Councilor Emmons pretty much said it. It's for a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, part of the children's park activities. We just cannot find a space in the children's park for it in West Park, and we thought we had a private location, but that fell through. So we have talked to the chief, and the chief has said it's not a problem. It can be barricaded off. They'll make arrangements so that people can get in and out who live, it's only on the one side of 3rd Street for 1 block that people would have to be able to get in and out from there. And you're correct in that it is to try and expand our activities for older children, although it's not exclusively for older children. And the park is open early on Friday for those, especially through the auspices of Arise, for those children who can't quite handle the crowds that come in there. It's a very busy park. I manage the park, and we have lots and lots of business. I invite everybody to come and bring their children. There are a lot of activities going on, and we hope to be able to have the additional space on the street on West 3rd Street between Seneca and Cayuga to add this basketball tournament.
I was going to say, you sound so much nicer on that side of the fence.
Is that insinuating that I didn't sound nice before?
No, I would never. I couldn't. Are there any other questions or comments? Councilor Gordino.
This is a great idea. I just had one question, and just procedural-wise. You've had 12 months to plan this. Why now at the 11th hour are you bringing this to the council?
That's a good question. The request for the space, this is a space that has never been in the HarborFest request before, so that comes in, as you know, quite a while ago. And HarborFest had that all worked out. At that time, the basketball tournament wasn't part of our planned activities, so that came up afterward. Then once it did, in the planning for the children's park, as I said, we thought we had a space for it and on someone's private property, and for a number of reasons, there are concerns about liability and things like that. It fell through. So we are at the point now where we either have to cancel it and not have that, or this was our solution for a space to have it. So it wasn't intentional that it was left out and came up at the last minute.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Harborfest thanks you. By the way, I forgot to say my name's Gay Williams.
And we need a resolution.
Gay, will you draw up a resolution for old time's sake?
I recommend the city attorney's office.
All right. Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes.
I'd like to call the Planning and Development Committee to order, please.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Gozick.
Here.
Counselor Cordino.
Here.
Get a motion to approve the minutes for July 5th, 2016.
Motion.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Any old business? Seeing none, we'll go right to new business, authorization. The city clerk's office has received a request from Kristen DeSantis of the Sting of Oswego, located at 49 West Bridge Street, for a variance or permit to operate outside decibel limits set forth for the noise ordinance in order to have live music from July through October 2016. See attachment. We have done this in the years past, I believe it's been. And what we'd like to do, I'm going to say this right off the bat, we got the downtown other establishments going to 1:30 a.m. with their the noise ordinance, and you wanted to 2 a.m. We'd like to keep it all the same. We'll go to 1:30 if everybody's in agreement to that. And I know Mr. Warndorf's here to speak on it. Give me the microphone, sir.
This is the same resolution we do every year, and we never use the noise ordinance except at Friday and Saturday night at Harborfest. The only reason I got it the rest of the time is in case we have a fundraiser. And usually they're on a Sunday afternoon.
Very good, thank you. Any questions, comments?
Just like to make a comment. I almost live across the street from this thing, and great neighbors. Never had any issues with noise from them. So, good job.
Thanks.
Questions, comments?
Should we vote to amend?
I will just put it in there as amended. 1:30. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Set. Thank you. No more new business. We have a motion to adjourn, please. I'll
Second.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Counselor Cordino.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open the Administrative Services Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Counselor Cordino.
Here.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Reynolds.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Emmons.
Here.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of July 5th, 2016 committee meeting.
Make a motion.
I didn't catch who was the second. Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Any old business we want to discuss at this point? Seeing none, going right on to new business. Under authorization, item number 1, Ryan Chetney, Bureau Executive Director, is requesting approval of the execution and installation of the artwork for West River Walk during 2016. Mr. Chetney?
Okay, this is just a continuation of the artwork you guys approved last month. Since then, we've had other young people turn in artwork, and also some existing artists do another mural to go forth. We have staffing throughout the summer, so we just figured it made sense to let those who wanted to continue with the murals to have the opportunity to do so.
Any questions? On a motion?
Second?
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Thanks. Item number 2, the engineering department requests the mayor be authorized to execute change order number 1 with Barrett Paving Materials Incorporated for the 2016 milling and paving project in the amount of $58,565.63. Is Mr. Johnson in the house? He is not. Well, maybe I can speak. He called me this afternoon saying that he was going to try to make today's meeting. And as he explained it to me, and this is my first go-around in the paving business, you probably, Counselor, know more about this than I, but he explained to me that when Barrett was proposing to do the paving project, there is milling that goes on, and when you mill the road, you never know what's going to go or what you're going to find underneath. So once they milled the road, they discovered there's always going to be areas that need to have binder and some fill before you put the topping on. How am I doing so far? Thank you. You're our expert on roads. And so if you look at the itemized list that has 9 streets listed, Ellen, Tallman, West Utica, Hillside, East Utica, East Oneida, East Utica, and East 10th. The total does come to $58,565.63 for those areas that needed to be repaired before paid. Now, I just wanted to point out to the councilors, and Mr. Johnson pointed out to me, not that any of us can miss it, but most of the areas that we're paying extra for range anywhere from $750 or $55 to about $4,700, $5,800 the highest. The one exception is item number 2, the Tallman Street, which is a grand total of $32,223.38. The way he explained that to me was recently, before they did the paving, there was issues where they had to replace the water lines, water laterals to homes. From according to this, there was a leaking old 2-inch line, water line, and had to be replaced with a new 6-inch line. So prior to the actual milling and paving, they dug up Tallman Street, made a mess of it. It almost looked like it was bombed out. And they fixed the water lines, replaced the water lines, but because of the schedule for paving, they didn't have time to go back, the DPW didn't have time to go back and fill the holes with the binder. So they decided to let the Barrett Paving do the filling of the binder as well as do the paving. So that's why the total for Tallman Street is about 8-9 times higher than the other streets. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page on that. I'm sure Councilman McLaughlin can understand that stuff too, being a DPW retiree. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all Mr. Johnson wanted me to share. Any questions, comments?
I just wanted to make sure I read it clearly, and this will all be reimbursed with CHIPS money, correct? So it's, in essence, it's $60,000, but it's going to be reimbursed.
Correct.
Okay.
That's a very good point. I'm glad you pointed it out. Anybody who doesn't know that this is reimbursable. So even though there was a cost overrun, it is reimbursable up to the amount allotted in CHIPS. Any other questions?
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 3, Thomas Kells, DPW Commissioner, requests consideration from the Common Council to establish a paid parking lot at Wright's Landing for the Harbor Fest 2016. This would be available for anyone who desires to pay a user fee of $10 to park near various Harbor Fest venue locations. Commissioner Kells?
Council, as you know, the carnival this year is going to be at the Flexwire site. That leaves us the parking lot at the marina, and what better way to recoup some overtime than to charge for parking for down there. It'll be strictly at the marina parking lot.
Any questions?
I just wonder how many, do we have an idea of how many spots there's going to be? Like what kind of?
We're still marking it off, but it looks like about 160. That parking will be per day, times Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, times 4.
How do you actually enforce this, or how will you enforce it? When somebody goes in there on a Friday at 6 o'clock, and they leave their car there all Friday and through Saturday's fireworks?
We will have it towed. They will have a parking pass that allows them for that day only.
Well thought out. Any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't see you back. Yes.
Just one. Boat trailers used to be parked over in the Flexo site. People who rented slips from Harbor Fest leave their trailers to be put in Flexo. We still have room for those boat trailers.
They will be going over to the Crisafulli ice skating rink. Just our marina staff.
Any other comments, questions, concerns about a motion?
Make a motion.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 4, Michael Riley, purchasing agent, states the agreement with the Fitzgibbon Agency to act as an agent for the City of Oswego in the sale of foreclosed properties has expired. 2 responses to the RFP for these services were received on July 7, 2016. Fitzgibbon's agency submitted a commission rate of 5%, and Century 21 Galloway Realty submitted a commission rate of 6% with a minimum commission of $1,000. Mike Riley is not here today. He did email all of us, I believe. Yeah, I got an email. Anybody want to comment other than me? Counselor?
We had this discussion a few years ago, and we did it a little differently. So at the time Fitzgibbons got awarded, I did want to talk more about what we get with them. They made a city website that coordinates the Oswego Renaissance Association to sell homes in target zones that are having a lot of work done, transitional neighborhoods that we're trying to stabilize. Also on the larger commercial properties, they do up really nice packets for all of them with their assessments, things that they think that we can do to sell the property better. A good example is the St. Paul's convent over there. You guys, that's still up for grabs, so we have that packet if you guys want to check it out. Fitzgibbons does a great job, so I'm in favor of sticking with them. I think we get a lot more in terms of just listing the sale.
Good. Anybody else?
Second.
Counselor Corodino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 5, Amy Birdsall, Planning and Zoning Director, states the Noon Rotary Club is requesting authorization to freshen up Redbeck Park Playground in the month of August. They intend to paint, stain, wood playground equipment, install new safety servicing, and install new borders around the playground area to retain the safe servicing. Work, safety servicing, and borders will be donated to the City of Oswego by the Noon Rotary Club. I believe Amy is not here today. She did call me, but did somebody else want to speak about this?
Yeah, thanks, Counselor. Dave Granoff from the Noontime Rotary Club, representing our president and our program director for this playground project. The project is going to be funded through our club, through the Noontime Club, and we're hopeful and most likely going to receive a matching grant in order to make that happen from Rotary International's District 7150 here in Central New York. $2,500 is what we put aside, whether we get the grant or not, but we're going to be hopeful and most grateful if we do get it. We actually wanted to do this project last year, but because of logistics, it wasn't able to be carried forth. But it will be quite a refresher to the park. As you know, the park is located at the corner of Ontario and Lake Street in Brightbeck Park, near the basketball court there in the corner. Really is in sore need of repair in District 1. So, at any rate, if there's any questions, I have some of the logistics. I'm the one who is responsible for the grant, but I'm not the one who was responsible. He couldn't be here tonight to talk about the absolute particulars, so thank you.
Yes.
I just want to thank you. The park does need some freshening up, and thank you guys for thinking of us.
Yeah, we're going to make it somewhat handicapped accessible, not complete ADA, but we will have 6 feet wide perimeter openings now with the use of wood chips instead of the pea stones, which is a much safer material to use as the ground cover to avoid injury off the swings and the pole and so forth. And we're going to really spiff it up with new paint, new lumber, and so you'll be able to get at least wheelchairs in there and have some fun. Sir?
I just had one question that someone brought to my attention earlier for the surfacing. Do you have any idea what they're going to use for the surfacing? The only reason why I ask is that someone had brought to my attention the fact that using latex or rubber, there's a lot of children with allergies. I just was asking if you had any idea. It didn't mention what the surfacing would be.
Certain kinds of paint or?
What the safety, it mentioned safety surfacing. I was assuming that was like
yes,
around I mean, today all the wood chips and everything are...
The wood chips, to my knowledge, the wood chips have been recommended nationally over pea stone for a couple reasons. One of the reasons is its buoyancy. So if you fall on wood chips, there's less tendency for abrasion and injury. Number two is it's a safety issue for slippage, and it doesn't distribute. In other words, if you put your foot into it, it doesn't go sliding off and you fall. And number three, it gives better water distribution, so you don't get soaked if you fall.
Any other comments?
Second.
Thank you.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Abstain.
And we need a resolution.
I'll ask Amy tomorrow. Item number 6, Amy Birdsall, Planning and Zoning Director, states Oswego County Opportunities Head Start requests permission to remove the current playground equipment adjacent to the Head Start building at Fort Ontario, replace it with new playground equipment and safety surfacing. New equipment will be within the existing fenced-in area and will not be expanded. Equipment and safety surfacing will be donated to the city of Oswego. And Amy's not here today, but somebody else.
I am Diane Cooper Courier. I'm the Executive Director for Oswego County Opportunities. So thank you very much. We are looking to replace the existing equipment that has been on the property for about 20 years now. So it is old and unsafe, and we'll be replacing it with durable equipment, as well as making sure that it meets the ADA requirements for the playground and safety surfacing, new safety surfacing. And I'm going to thank David for explaining the wonderful explanation about wood chips, because that's what we'll have also, about 10 inches of new wood chips being put down. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Don't see any. So a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
I'll ask her again. Item number 7, Justin Rudgick, Community Development Director, requests authorization to apply and submit an application for funding through Empire State Development Strategic Planning and Feasibility Studies in the FY 2016 Consolidated Funding Application, or CFA, round for the assessment of the existing Chris Foley Rink conversion into a multi-purpose athletic and civic community facility with the goal of enhancing the economic development of the city and central New York region. I know Mr. Rudgick was unable to attend tonight's meeting and couldn't speak to this. And the next in line was Mayor Barlow. He was unable to attend, so they asked me. I'm third in line, apparently. So everybody in the council got the packet of information in regards to this item. And of course, the public may not know all this, but the whole idea is that the city well, let me just read this section. QPK Design is pleased to submit this proposal to assist the city of Oswego with the assessment of the existing Chris Fuller Rink for conversion into a multi-purpose athletic and civic/community facility with the goal of enhancing the economic development of the city. We further understand that initial thoughts are for the facility to accommodate 2 ice rinks, one that is seasonal and one that is year-round. It would also accommodate an indoor field for soccer/lacrosse, as well as 2 basketball courts, team locker rooms, concession stand area, restrooms, and the ability to convert the indoor field/rink into a civic space for music/theater, arts performances, graduation ceremonies, and other civic uses. And so what we're basically discussing here is there is a proposal from this particular architectural engineering company that has put a bid in for this assessment at $98,500. And I did discuss this with Mayor Barlow just to get the explanation correct, that the $98,500 is the cost for this company to do the assessment. And we're putting in a grant. Justin Rudgick, the Director of Community Development, will be writing a grant, and this $98,500, 10% of it is what the city of Oswego will be on the hook for. So that's $9,850 if, in fact, the grant is won by the city. So at this point, we're just approving Justin to write a grant, and if the grant is approved, then we'd have to approve the $9,850. And this grant, I believe, is due at the end of this month, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, July 29th. So I don't think I need to mention there's 11 tasks in this letter that we all read, starting with project initiation, data collection, conditions inventory, market analysis, public participation, initial economic feasibility, facility concept development, design, public meeting, final concept design, proposed construction estimate, facility management recommendations, public participation and outreach, and the final report. So those items that were listed here are items that are the initial thoughts of Justin and some other people, I guess, to what this facility could be. So nothing's set in stone, and really what we're approving here is just the opportunity to apply for the grant, and then I think everything's on the table from there. We can go from there. So does anybody have any questions?
Yes. My worry here is we just submitted or just approved a master plan for Fort Ontario, the whole Fort area. Would we be kind of in conflict or two different grants asking at the same time? Would one endanger the other, and would we be putting the national park thing on in danger?
It's a good question. That did come up in our conversations this afternoon, and I'm not privy to how the Empire State Development planning and feasibility goes, the application goes. But I mean, the way I look at it is if we put an application for this and the other one, we have 2 applications in the pile of 200 or 300 applications. To me, we've got a 2 out of 200 opportunity to get it. Does it directly conflict with the other application? I guess technically it could. But my thought is, why not put as many applications as we can? But who's to say if it does conflict? I mean, I'm not on the board. Yes, Councilor.
I was just wondering, to me it sounds like a great idea when you think about the fact that in the vicinity anyway, at least if you go to Syracuse, sure, they probably have a facility. I know they have like the rinks in Cicero. I mean, when I grew up playing hockey, we didn't have the rink in Cicero, but nonetheless there was ice in Syracuse. But they have the rinks, they have the basketball courts, it seems like, and the lacrosse as well. It seems like, and to have the opportunity where you bring in, theater or concerts. I mean, depending on how big it is, it seems like it would be an economic driver for growth, that we're going to generate revenue by having people come in and book the facility from other places as well. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like then you could have tournaments. Really the sky's the limit. We could propose bringing in events of even greater significance, like the Haudenosaunee or the Onondaga Nation. They hold international lacrosse championships, like they invented the sport. We might be able to get them here for exhibitions. To me, it seems like to have such a facility here, regardless of, I can't see how it would hurt, with the national park. I'm just thinking, Pat, off the top of my head, but when you really think about it, it seems like to have a facility like this could be one more piece of the puzzle for Oswego here to help bring more people in, because everybody knows sports are huge. And who comes, it isn't just the kid, it's the family. They come and stay at our hotels. We're putting up new hotels right now, working on developing the whole city. To me, it seems like this would be in the best interest of the city. And what do we have to lose? I mean, it seems like at this point, I would be all in favor of it.
Basically, what you're saying is build it and they will come.
Seems like it.
Councilor McLaughlin.
I think it's a great idea, too. And my concern is that we're kind of putting the cart before the horse. If our master plan gets done and everything then comes back and says, well, you build it here, it should have been 100 foot the other way for some reason.
Councilor.
I'm actually in the same boat as Councilman McLaughlin, because we do have to designate the areas that we want to turn over to for the state park when that comes through. So I think having a plan for what areas we want to use and being strategic about where we might be able to get a different source of funding if the facilities are part of the state park or not. I just think being strategic about what we do for Council Kaplowitz attempted to get a facility down there one time before, and Council Walker remembers that whole deal that he shot for. It was a different issue. But, yeah. So, I think it would make more sense if we had a plan that knew what areas we were going to give up and what we were going to designate to the state park before we started looking for grants for pieces that might help our case to make this a state park. Especially if it's something that we're going to put in competing against another grant from the same agency, in the same agency. I just think we could be better off.
Okay, thank you. Councilor?
Through the chair, this is a proposal whose time is overdue. And all the points that have been made are excellent points. I candidly think that this proposal could only enhance the national park stature. When you look at it, and again, not getting the cart too far down the road here, we're looking at existing space that I don't believe is designed to infringe upon the national park status. I don't know all the details of either one of them, and frankly, this is a call for a feasibility study. This isn't even that. It's a call for an application to receive grant funding from the state of New York in order to do a feasibility study to determine if it's even feasible to do this, right? So, talk about dreaming, but this is where dreams start. And I can tell you about 10 years ago, and it's been going on before this, but 10 years ago, a group of us, and I happened to be part of it, primarily through the Minor Hockey Association and the Eric Cole Dream Big Foundation, of which I'm a director. We took a field trip to southern Ontario, and we visited communities much like Oswego, many of them smaller than Oswego, to see their recreational areas. We met with city planners, and I think they use selectmen up there or something of that nature, but essentially your counterparts in Ontario. And we asked them, we spent 2 days just touring different ice facilities. And we asked them their thoughts and why they did what they did. And virtually every single one of them had 2 pads, that's what we call it, 2 sheets of ice. And some of them had set enough space available to put an additional 2 pads for a 4-pad sheet of ice, and civic center, and convention area, a real community event center. And the reason they did that was this is what we do. This is one of the services that we provide. And so as I said, this is a service, this is an event, this is a venue that's long overdue in this community. And not just hockey, you know, Councilor Gozick and I are hockey players near and dear to our heart, but we looked at this as a greater good and a bigger vision. Sure, hockey and box lacrosse and heck, roller derby are all sports that can utilize this, but when you look at the trade shows that can come in and the various other conventions and conferences and all the other things that we can host, and with all that is going on in Oswego and in our future, this really is something that is worth investing the time, because that's essentially what we're doing right now, is investing time in a grant proposal. And it is a condition, I guess it's a conditional approval. Our outlay would be 10% if we received a grant. So I would strongly encourage that we move forward with this, and the issues with the state park are all relevant and material to this, but can be worked out within that feasibility study as we go forward, should we get this grant. We're on a roll, right? The state's been pretty good to us, so why don't we try for a little bit more?
Right? Really say no.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Any other comments?
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 8 under discussion, Thomas Kells, DPW Commissioner, requests discussion regarding a transfer within the sewer fund. Commissioner?
Councilors, what we're looking to do is put some money back into our account, which takes care of manhole covers, risers, pipe, and so on, that we used up during the pavement project, and also when the Buyer Road culvert collapsed. So we're looking to recoup that money, put it back in the account, so we can order more manholes and so on and so forth.
All said. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion?
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 9, Justin Rudchick, Community Development Director, requests discussion to amend Resolution number 258, authorize Community Development Director to apply for and submit for funding the waterfront revitalization project. Again, Justin is not in today. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to this? According to the packet of information, it does appear that he's proposing to amend the existing resolution that we already approved to include the lighthouse restoration, which would increase the total project cost by $100,000 to $1.13 million. This was part of, as everybody remembers, a project where we identified Wright's Landing, apply for funding for waterfront enhancement and development construction projects identified as Wright's Landing Marine Fuel System, Wright's Landing Marine Boat Launch Improvement, Oswego River Dockage, Marina Area Amenities, Accessible Park Connection, Redbeck Park, and Harbor Trail Improvement, and the Oswego Beach Analysis. So, is there any other questions, comments? Seeing none? Oh?
I'll just make a comment. I mean, if we're going to enhance the marina, we should enhance the entry point into the marina by having our lighthouse look good. So I'm supportive of it.
Good point. Motion, please.
Make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
I'll ask Justin to do that. That was the last item for tonight. Is there any questions or comments or things people need to bring up? Seeing none?
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Walker. Counselor Emmons.
Yes.